What the career cost.
Everybody's meeting at 7. Please come this time.
I can't. Certification test Monday.
You're always studying.
I know.
You already have a good job.
I'm trying to qualify for the job after this one.
And after that?
The office.
What office?
The one with the door that closes.
You better invite me over when you get it.
You can sit in the chair I couldn't afford because I paid tuition. I passed.
You did it. Was disappearing for 8 months worth it?
Ask me when I get the office. I did not wander into that career. I bought it with tuition, earned it through exams, built it through years of work nobody celebrated. By the time I reached senior leadership, I thought all that effort had purchased something besides a title. I thought it had purchased safety. Round 1. The word permanent. The company had required me to prove I was ready at every step. Victor only had to be wanted.
Big day.
Congratulations.
That's it?
I'm finishing the client forecast.
You should learn to celebrate other people's success.
Until that morning, I had treated Victor like bad weather. Disruptive, unpleasant, temporary. The permanent announcement locked the emergency exit. Round 2. The predator's warmth.
You have a minute? People misunderstand me.
Do they?
They see the title. They don't see the pressure. There are people on the executive team you need to be careful around.
Who?
I don't want to gossip. But some people are threatened by strong leadership. You're different.
How?
You're smart, quiet, observant. I can help you go far here.
I need to submit this forecast before noon.
You work too much.
The clients keep noticing.
You're very guarded.
I'm working.
Everything okay?
Yes?
Victor said you may be having trouble adjusting.
Did he say what I was adjusting to?
Not specifically.
Of course not. Round 3. The patient man performance.
Before we go, I want to acknowledge that this transition has been challenging. I'm still adjusting to the scope of the role. I receive hundreds of emails. I'm pulled in 10 directions. I am trying to support everyone, but people need to work with me. I hope we can extend patience and grace while we move forward.
He really is trying.
Trying to do what?
Just manage everything.
Victor loved the word trying. Trying required no decision, no signature, no result, just an audience. Round 4. The missing approval.
Why is the analyst position still vacant?
I'm waiting for your approval.
I don't remember seeing it.
The first request was sent on January 11th. I resented on January 25th and again last week.
I receive hundreds of emails.
That is why I printed it.
People need to understand that I'm overwhelmed.
The team has covered the vacancy for 8 weeks.
And I need people to work with me, not keep pressuring me.
Which option are you approving?
Why does every conversation with you feel transactional?
This is a hiring transaction.
That tone is exactly what I'm talking about.
What tone?
You leave no room for the human side of leadership.
Option A or option B?
I am not making a decision while being pressured.
When should I follow up?
You need patience.
His unanswered email had become my leadership failure. Round 5. The public stain.
I just need to be sure your team understands the expectations.
We completed the first stage yesterday.
Good. Victor said there had been some resistance.
To what?
I don't know the details.
Let's not get stuck in the past.
I heard you've been encouraging managers to use my team.
Your team has useful expertise.
I didn't realize you felt that way.
You never asked. Victor introduced people to a version of me I had never met. Eventually, they had to work with the real one. Round 6. The interrogation.
Let's try this again. You don't need that.
I prefer accurate notes.
Why has the division not moved into the new site?
There is no approved site.
That is not what I asked.
Which site did you approve?
We are reviewing options.
What is the move date?
That is still being finalized.
Has corporate risk cleared occupancy?
You keep focusing on obstacles.
I am asking which plan I allegedly refused to follow.
Do you accept responsibility for the delay?
For which decision?
The overall outcome.
Which action of mine caused it?
It is not one action.
Which actions?
It is a pattern.
Which events make up the pattern?
You're being combative. What are you writing?
Your answer.
Put that away. Oh,
Why?
because I'm trying to have an honest conversation.
Then the notes should help.
Meeting over.
The interrogation ended when his words began leaving fingerprints. Round 7. The secret exit.
Your background is strong. The concern is that this role would require relocation within 30 days.
I understand.
Would that be possible?
Not in 30 days.
Where are you?
At lunch,
I need you back. We have an issue with the relocation schedule.
I was trying to leave before the fight destroyed my career. The openings were scarce. The timing was wrong. The walls were closing faster than the doors were opening. Round 8. Risk enters the room.
We have lost valuable time because some leaders continue focusing on barriers rather than execution. I have tried coaching. I have tried patience. I have tried creating space for adjustment.
Which site is reflected in this timeline?
We are finalizing the configuration.
The move is scheduled for May 11th.
That is the target.
Has the facility passed inspection?
Facilities is managing that.
I checked this morning. There is no completed inspection. Risk will not authorize occupancy without ventilation clearance, emergency planning, and a confirmed address.
Of course, this timeline was always preliminary.
Round 9. The leak.
Who have you been talking to?
About what?
Don't do that.
Do what?
You know exactly what I'm asking.
Then ask clearly.
Did you contact Risk?
Risk attended your meeting.
That is not an answer.
Send the question in writing. Victor could control rooms I could not enter. He had not considered that I might quietly bring those rooms into his inbox. Round 10. The invisible audience. Victor thought he was dressing me down in private. An executive watched him accuse me 5 times without naming one action. Round 11. The last safe exit closes. I had tried professionalism. I had tried patience. I had tried job applications. I had tried leaving without blowing up my life. By then, I was no longer choosing between danger and safety. I was choosing which part of me would survive. Round 12. Human resources.
Your previous review is very strong.
It was completed before Victor became my supervisor. He undermines decisions, withholds approvals, and then attributes the outcomes to me.
Do you want to share something?
Yes. I believe I am being retaliated against by my supervisor. His behavior escalated after I did not give him the personal loyalty he expected.
What kind of loyalty?
Private gossip, emotional access, agreement with his enemies list, gratitude for support he never provided. When I raised safety concerns, he called it resistance. When I asked for decisions, he called it pressure. When I asked what I had done, he called the question combative.
We take retaliation seriously.
Round 13. The stain.
She said what? No, that is completely false. My record speaks for itself. Who else has seen it? I am deeply disappointed that you chose to escalate concerns rather than continue working with me directly. I have consistently supported you despite considerable challenges. I hope we can avoid actions that further damage trust or create unnecessary harm to professional reputations. Can we talk privately?
Please send a meeting request with the purpose included.
After everything I've done for you,
What have you done for me?
I don't want this to become adversarial.
It already is.
You have no idea what you're doing.
Victor had survived years of complaints without one stain remaining on his record. Now, a documented retaliation report existed. He did not fear the truth. He feared the file. Round 14, the spiral.
I spoke with HR regarding repairing our relationship. Who did you give documents to?
HR has what I considered relevant.
What does that mean?
It means HR has what I considered relevant.
Did you give them my emails?
Which emails concern you?
That is not what I asked.
Then put the question in writing.
I have spent my entire career reading people.
Then read this correctly. Round 15, the journal. The man who claimed he could read anyone had to steal my journal to learn what I was thinking. He thought he had removed the truth. He had confirmed it. Round 16, the ambush. Why is Victor here?
He has relevant context.
I reported him for retaliation.
We are reviewing the working relationship as a whole.
I have always wanted you to succeed.
Accountability for what?
This is not about one incident.
Which incidents?
There is a broader pattern.
What events make up the pattern?
This is exactly what I have been trying to address.
Asking what I am accused of?
Your inability to reflect.
The staffing delay occurred because Victor did not approve either option. The relocation stalled because there was no approved site or safety clearance.
We are not here to relitigate operational details.
They removed every decision Victor failed to make, then blamed me for the outcome left behind. Round 17, the suspension.
Effective immediately, you are being placed on administrative suspension while we complete our review.
Am I accused of misconduct?
This is not disciplinary.
Then why am I being removed?
We need to protect the integrity of the process and prevent any perception of retaliation or interference.
You are suspending the person who reported retaliation to prevent retaliation.
You may collect your personal belongings.
I had paid for that career in years. They destroyed it in minutes. Round 19, the inventory.
Do you have copies of Victor's emails?
Yes.
Which ones?
The staffing approvals, relocation, risk correspondence, his messages after the HR report.
Do you have screenshots?
Some.
Anything stored outside the company system?
Why?
We are trying to understand the scope of available information.
Are you investigating Victor's conduct or cataloging what evidence survived?
We are conducting a thorough review.
That did not answer my question. Their questions changed after every document. Their conclusion did not. They were not searching for truth. They were checking my inventory. Round 20, the hidden memos. Victor blocked discipline. The memo said I could not lead. Victor withheld approvals. The memo said I failed to act. Victor spread suspicion through private rooms. The memo said several leaders had independently questioned me. Victor retaliated. They suspended me to prevent retaliation. Every accusation was his confession with my name attached. Final round, no cause. They shouted cause through every hallway. When the story had to face evidence, they signed no cause. Victor could control a room. He could not survive a timeline. Recovery, the last fight. God, I know what happened, but my body still thinks I'm in the room. Please help me stay focused on worshiping you through this wilderness wandering. I learned the difference between discernment and fear. Discernment said, I recognize that pattern. Fear said, that pattern is everywhere. I had survived by staying alert. I recovered by learning that I no longer had to be. The truth leaves the building. They destroyed the career I had spent years building. That is true. I will not soften it. They took something precious because protecting Victor mattered more than protecting the truth. But they failed at the one thing they wanted most. They did not make me believe them. I knew what he did. I knew what they did, and I knew what I had done. I asked for the decision. I preserved the record. I warned them about the risk. I refused the false confession. I told the truth while they still had the power to punish me for it. Victor spent his career studying people, blinking, breathing, posture, fear. He thought quiet meant I was weak. Quiet meant I was measuring him. Quiet meant I was checking the date. Quiet meant I was saving the email. Quiet meant I was learning where to place the witnesses. He thought he was interrogating me. I was documenting him. He thought he was testing my loyalty. I was measuring his retaliation. He thought stealing the journal took the truth. The journal was paper. He thought suspension removed the threat. It removed his access to me. He thought termination gave him the ending. It gave me the whole story. My career did not survive that company. My integrity did. My mind did. The truth did. They kept the building. They kept the title. They kept Victor. I walked away with an uncertain future, a damaged career, and the one thing they could not confiscate: reality. They took the job, I took the truth. And by the time Victor realized he had been fighting in front of an audience he could not see, he had already told them everything.